Welcome back to the Wandering Wind Church. Today we are reading the Life Recovery Devotional, Day 13 reading. And the title is Emotional Time Bombs. Our reading for today is 2 Samuel 13, 1 through 24. Step 1. We admitted that we were powerless over our dependencies and that our lives had become unmanageable. There are times when we become deeply upset by the injustices of life, the abuses kept as family secrets, the feelings buried alive, and our vows to get even. In such times, we often become powerless over the strength of our inner turmoil. All we can feel is the resolve to act out our hatred. We can't control feelings. Absalom became powerless over his hatred and rage. It ultimately controlled his life to the point that he fought to overthrow his father's rule. He was outraged when his half-brother raped his sister Tamar. When King David did nothing to avenge his daughter, Absalom vowed revenge in his heart. He waited until the time was right and murdered the guilty brother. This sequence of abuse, family secrecy, denial, unprocessed feelings, and revenge destroyed Absalom's relationship with his father. He never forgave David and died in a military rebellion against him. We may use our addictive and compulsive behaviors to distract us from the deep, unresolved family issues that cut us to the heart. There may be so many strong emotions which we don't know how to process appropriately that we simply try to stuff them down inside. Eventually, these feelings are expressed in some way. We need to confront the family secrets, express our feelings, convict the guilty, and work through forgiveness. If we try to ignore them, we will be controlled by these explosive, hidden emotions. Hatred leads to disaster. Accepting our powerlessness leads to recovery and wholeness. You know, I honestly, I'm drawing on secular media for a second, but in Star Wars, where Anakin, Luke Skywalker's father, is before the Jedi Council in the prequels. Yeah, we know. No one talks about him. But, and Anakin is saying how he's afraid. Yoda says, fear is the path to the dark side. Fear leads to anger. Anger leads to hate. Hate leads to suffering. Honestly, that is true. Honestly, that is true for a lot of us, because if we allow our fears to control us, then our fears make us angry over things that we can't control, over things that we couldn't stop, couldn't avoid, couldn't heal, and then that anger leads to hatred for the person that we believe did the wrong thing, that we believe to be responsible. Just like Absalom allowed his hatred for his father to destroy his life and destroy his relationship with his family and ultimately end his life, so are we too oftentimes trapped in that kind of a cycle. And honestly, this is one of the tools that Satan loves to use. He loves to use our passionate feelings, our anger, our hatred, our emotions, to divide us and other people. Because what better way to fracture the church than to get them angry over something superfluous like the color of a carpet? For example, I mean, I've heard it actually happen before in certain sections of the church, in certain denominations. But beyond that, I mean, there are many, many, many examples where we have seen that unresolved anger, unresolved hatred, unresolved bitterness toward people only manages to drive you deeper and deeper into whatever hole you're in, whether it's an addictive cycle, abusive relationships, or even just negative emotion and negative self-talk. That can be one of the worst things for a person in addiction, or even someone that never dealt with addiction before. But we're all subject to that particular kind of attack. So You know, just being mindful, practicing mindfulness with our emotions, allowing ourselves to feel, but not allowing ourselves to be controlled by what we feel. If if that makes it any more understandable, our passions may drive us, but as long as it isn't taking a hold of the wheel completely and it's just running the motor and we're still in control of the wheel, that's not wrong. When we allow our passions to take control of the wheel and turn us in a direction we shouldn't be going, when we allow our anger and our frustration and our bitterness to turn us into hateful and spiteful people, that's where we need to go. Wait a minute. What am I doing? And how can I get back on the road? Because I'm way off the beaten path here. As always, it's a practice of renewing your mind by reading the Word, and then beyond that, it's about making sure that you're always seeking His will, not my will. His will, not my will, that kind of a deal. As always, remember, we seek to be renewed every day. Recovery is not a leaps and bounds process. It is a step-by-step, moment-by-moment journey. Sometimes quickly and sometimes slowly. Some of us get on a bicycle. Some of us are just walking along. But no matter what way, we manage to keep going forward, because that is what we choose to focus on. The progress of recovery, not the perfection that sometimes tempts us to stay in place. So as always, thank you guys for watching. Thank you for listening. Thank you for sharing, subscribing, and supporting the channel in whatever way you do. And until next time, thank you so much for being here. Remember, every day is a step closer to recovery. Until next time, I'll see you again soon. God bless.